This is the Story Archive. The truck. Road trips have a way of making people want to prove things. You're in a car for hours. No distractions, no easy exits. Just conversation, silence, and whatever version of yourself you decide to present. And sometimes you try a little too hard. He was 22 at the time, out of college, new job, first year living on his own. And for the first time in a long while, he felt like his life was starting to move forward. The road trip wasn't supposed to mean anything, just a weekend drive with friends. 4 people, 2 cars, a few hours out of the city. Nothing dramatic, except one of the people going was a guy he had recently started seeing, not officially dating, not exactly casual either. That strange in-between stage where every interaction feels like it matters more than it should. He wanted to look confident, capable, relaxed, the kind of guy who could handle anything. They'd stopped at a gas station about an hour into the trip, one of those big roadside places with too many snack options and a parking lot full of people stretching their legs. Everyone got out of the car. Someone went inside for drinks. Someone else went to the restroom. He stayed outside, leaning against the car, trying to look like he belonged there, trying to look like the kind of guy who was comfortable anywhere. That's when he saw the truck, parked a few spaces over, big, old, the kind of truck that looked like it had never needed help from anyone. And next to it, a guy trying to push it, alone. The engine must have died. The truck wasn't moving. The guy looked tired, frustrated, sweating in the afternoon heat. Without thinking too much about it, he walked over. "Need a hand?" he asked. The guy nodded. "Yeah, just trying to roll it forward so I can jump it." It seemed simple enough. Push the truck, help out, look useful, look strong, look like the kind of person who didn't hesitate when something needed to be done. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw his friends watching from near the car, including him, the guy he wanted to impress. That was enough. Now he really wanted to make this look easy. They both got behind the truck, hands on the tailgate. 1, 2, push. The truck didn't move, not even a little. He pushed harder, feet digging into the pavement, arms locked, trying to look like the weight didn't bother him, trying to pretend this was completely normal. "Little more," the driver said. They pushed again. This time the truck shifted slightly, just enough to feel progress. He smiled. Good. That was good. That looked good. They pushed again, harder, and that's when it happened. His foot slipped. Not dramatically, not like in a movie. Just enough. Enough for his balance to go forward. Enough for his hands to lose grip. Enough for his shoulder to bump the tailgate at exactly the wrong angle. The truck rolled. Just a little. But he didn't. He went forward. Hands out, trying to catch himself, missing, and landing directly on the pavement in front of the truck. For a second, nobody said anything. The driver froze. His friends froze. He stayed there, half on the ground, half on one knee, staring at the asphalt, trying to decide how much dignity he had left. "You good?" the driver asked. He nodded quickly. Yeah, I'm good." He stood up, brushed off his hands, tried to laugh like it hadn't hurt, tried to act like falling face first in a gas station parking lot was just part of the plan. They got the truck moving after that. Slowly, carefully. He didn't try to push as hard this time, didn't try to prove anything, just helped, quietly, When he walked back to the car, his friends were smiling, not laughing, not making fun of him. Just that look people get when they've seen something they know you'll remember forever. The guy he had been trying to impress opened the passenger door, waited until he sat down, then said, "You didn't have to do that, you know." He shrugged. "I know." A pause. Then the guy smiled slightly. But it was kind of impressive anyway. That wasn't the reaction he expected. Not teasing, not judgment. Just honest. And strangely, warm. For the rest of the trip, no one mentioned the fall again. They talked, listened to music, argued about directions, normal road trip things. But something felt different. Lighter. Less like he had to perform, more like he could just exist. Later that night, after they checked into the hotel, the same guy handed him a soda from the vending machine. "You always try that hard?" he asked. He laughed. "Only when I think someone's watching." The guy nodded. Good to know. Looking back, he still remembers the sound his hands made when they hit the pavement. The quick flash of embarrassment. The instant regret. Because for a second he thought he had ruined everything. Trying too hard. Trying to look stronger than he was. Trying to be someone else. But sometimes the moment you think makes you look ridiculous is the moment someone realizes you're real. What would you have done? Would you have helped push the truck? Or stayed by the car and played it safe?
The bowling alley, middle school hangouts always feel bigger than they really are. At the time, everything feels important. Who you sit next to, who laughs at your jokes, who notices what you say, and especially, who you can impress. He was 14, old enough to think he understood how things worked, young enough to have no idea. It was a Friday night. A group of them had gone to the bowling alley. Not a party, not a date. Just one of those group things where everyone shows up and hopes something interesting happens. There were about 8 of them, 2 lanes, shoes that never fit right, that smell every bowling alley has no matter where you go. Pizza boxes on the table, plastic cups filled with soda. Everything felt normal, comfortable, safe, until he realized she was there. They had the same math class, sat 2 rows apart, had talked a few times, nothing serious, but enough that he noticed when she walked into the room. Enough that he suddenly cared how he looked, how he stood, how he threw the ball. At first he tried to act like it didn't matter. Just bowl normally, laugh with everyone else, pretend he wasn't paying attention to where she was sitting, pretend he didn't notice when she watched him. Then one of his friends said, "All right, next one's yours." He stood up, grabbed the ball, and suddenly the lane felt longer than it had before, like everyone was watching, even if they weren't. He picked up a heavier ball than usual. Not because he needed it, because it looked better, because heavier meant stronger, because stronger meant cooler, at least in his head. He stepped up to the line, took a breath, rolled his shoulders like he had seen older guys do. Behind him, someone said, "Don't mess this up." Everyone laughed. He laughed too. But now he really didn't want to mess it up. He started his approach, 1 step, 2 steps, swing, release. The ball went straight into the lane, fast, too fast. It hit the side hard, bounced slightly, then rolled forward in a slow, crooked line, barely touching any pins. 3 fell. The rest stayed standing. Groans behind him. Someone clapped sarcastically. He smiled, shrugged, tried to act like he didn't care, but he did, more than he wanted to admit. He turned around to sit down. And that's when it happened. His shoe caught the edge of the floor right where the lane started. Bowling shoes never grip the way you expect. 1 step felt normal, the next didn't. His foot slid forward. His balance went with it. And before he could stop himself, he went down. Hard. Right at the edge of the lane. 1 hand hit the floor. 1 knee slammed into the wood. The ball rack rattled behind him. For a second, nobody moved. Not because it was serious, because it was unexpected. Then someone laughed. Not in a mean way. just surprised. The kind of laugh that escapes before you think about it. Another person laughed too. Then another. Soon everyone was laughing. Even the people in the next lane looked over. He stayed on the floor for a second, not hurt, just frozen, trying to decide how to stand up without making it worse. "You good?" his friend asked. He nodded quickly. "Yeah." He stood up, brushed off his pants, tried to smile, tried to look like falling in front of everyone was completely normal. He sat down at the table, picked up his soda, took a sip, pretended to watch the game, pretended nothing had happened. But his face felt hot. His ears felt hot. That feeling you get when you know everyone saw, even if nobody says anything. A minute later, she walked over. Holding a bowling ball, she sat down next to him. Not across, not at the other end, right next to him. "You almost took the whole lane out," she said. He laughed, a real laugh this time. "Yeah, that was the plan." She smiled. "You okay?" He nodded. "Yeah, just my pride." She laughed at that. Not loud, not teasing, just enough. And somehow that made it better. For the rest of the night, no one really talked about the fall. They joked about bad scores, argued about turns, ordered more fries, normal stuff. But every time he got up to bowl after that, he didn't grab the heavy ball anymore, didn't try to look cool. Just played. Later, when everyone was leaving, she said goodbye at the door. "Next time," she said, "maybe don't try so hard." He smiled. "Next time I'm using the light ball." She nodded. "Good idea." Looking back, he barely remembers the score. Doesn't remember who won, doesn't remember what anyone else bowled, but he remembers the sound his shoe made when it slid. The moment he realized he was falling. The second he thought he had completely embarrassed himself. Because at 14, moments like that feel permanent. Like everyone will remember forever. Most of the time, they don't. Sometimes the only thing people remember is that you laughed too. What would you have done? Would you have grabbed the heavy ball or played it safe from the start?
What would you have done? If you'd like to hear more documented accounts like this, you're welcome to subscribe. New stories are added each week.